My name's Stephen Larkin, and firstly I would like to say how honoured I am to be addressing such a distinguished audience and to be introduced by such a distinguished former member of the UCT community. I'm very happy to announce that today, after 3 years of campaigning with ICASA, the telecoms provider in South Africa, that we have managed to persuade them to give Ilali a special dispensation to follow Federal Communication Commission rules as opposed to EU rules, and this will bring down the cost of open-cast Wi-Fi connectivity by 50-fold. So this can now happen. IT solutions cannot work without connectivity. There are lots of sensory equipment, okay? Ultra-rugged PC, the kind of thing that you can chuck off a second-story building onto concrete. But what's really exciting is this, an icon-driven touchscreen interface that transcends language and literacy. 78% of South African mine workers do not speak English as a first language, yet 90% of the world's software is written in English. Okay, doesn't make sense. So if you're going to get your worker to want to use your system, you've got to talk in his language. And I'm afraid I'm very mathsy. I've got some of the best optimization experts in the world, and the opportunity is to get vast amounts of data so that these guys can start playing their shots in terms of dispatching, in terms of energy saving. One little soundbite: 52% of South Africa's energy is used in the mining and beneficiation sector to deliver 6.4% of GDP. Environmental implications of that are horrific. But most importantly, seismic. If we can get cheap seismic sensors, we can have a go at stopping the 54% of fatalities that happened in the mining industry due to unplanned seismic activity. I collected 8 days of data from it a couple of years ago. There were 28 vehicle health incidents. Engine overheat, I mean, imagine, I suppose the New York cabs do this, but most of our cars don't. You know, engine overheated once every 2.5 days. Transmission temperature, that's your gearbox, overheated every couple of days. Hydraulic temperatures more than once a day. My personal favorite, idle limit cutouts, where the guy leaves the engine on because he simply wanted to go to sleep because it's quite cold in the desert. It's a huge cost. That's 10% of the cost base. Okay, why Acqumine? Well, it's kind of a little bit intimidating standing here in probably the world's finest educational institution, certainly in terms of research, and say, well, what can an African person in IT tell Americans? Because you guys are pretty much the best innovators in technology in the world. Well, the first thing is who we're not. The original equipment manufacturers own our 3 biggest competitors, and they cannot afford to compete in this market because they are heavily dependent on parts and after sales. It's like 50% of turnover, 80% of profits. Secondly, not just who we're not, but who our friends are. Wages are low. So if we can befriend unions by having innovative bonus systems to increase mine worker wages, they're going to talk to us, and indeed they are. So we've got financial objectives: increase turnover in the mining industry by 10%, and then decrease maintenance and depreciation costs by 20%. But then we want to redistribute those savings and value adds into wages, and well, the mine owners got to get some as well. That's roughly a 50-50 split. We spent 4 years, 20 man-years over the last 4 years developing. We've raised our first $1 million. We're going on to a reference site within the next few weeks. We're looking for our Series A funding. We then want to roll out safety spectrum, that's our connectivity solution, energy saving. The US government's written a letter of support saying that they're keen to back this technology, and we're looking for a US partner to go in with the US government to help make this a reality. Mine safety is a big issue in this country as well, and you have a vast mining industry, so it's very interesting to you as well. But I want to leave you with a final thought. We think that Microsoft is dominant because it's got 85% of the desktop market. But we tend to forget that only 600 million people have access to PCs. What about the other 5 billion? You need to get technology to go to people. And this is a little play into the greatest technology market that will ever exist. One that democratizes technology so that it becomes something that helps people who don't have the education that the people in this room were privileged to have. Thank you very much.